Hi, it's Rachel again. I'm back for another video. This is Needle and Flax Flosstube, if you haven't been here before. I dye linen and I'm a stitcher, and I don't know, this is where we talk about stitching and I give updates on my shop if I have any to give, and that's it. So I have my coffee. It's been just a week since I hung out with you guys. We did a live YouTube video stitching in our house coats, and it was a ton of fun. I am going to do that again, kind of randomly. So if you were on there and enjoyed it, if you watched the recorded one, it's on the channel. So if you want to watch, just go back one video. It was kind of fun, and it sparked a lot of stuff that I have to talk to you guys about. So, it's 8 o'clock on Friday morning, May 6th. And I was hoping to get this started like an hour ago because I want to get a full day at work in, or a nice I have a bunch of things to do, basically. But this is going to take a little bit, and I've been looking forward to it because I have lots to share and show, and I may have to pause a few times. I feel like I just heard somebody pull up. Hang on a minute. My oldest daughter is going to be coming here to drop off some stuff today, so I have no idea when she's coming. Actually, I'm going to pause real quick. Okay. God, I was doing this 1 minute and I felt like I had to pause. I'm so sure that she's going to like bust through the door and scare the bejesus out of me. Whatever. And I put my phone on airplane. I record this on my phone and I put it on airplane mode. So if she texts like I'm on my way, I'm not going to see it. So I'm sure she's whatever. We'll see. We'll just pause it. Okay. So I did a live video a week ago. And if you weren't on it, it is recorded and it's one video back. I had some technical snafus trying to get on there. It was set to like for kids only, and comments and stuff weren't coming up. So I like restarted it like 5 times before I figured it out. And I was like, okay, get off and get back on. Most of the people figured it out, but there was a couple people that are like, I'm on here with you and it's gone. So anyway, the one I finally got together is on there. Once you record a live, it just uploads to your channel. I thought that YouTube was like Instagram, where when you do an Instagram live, you don't see, if you watch it later, you don't see the comments flowing through. And there is a, on YouTube, when you watch the lives that are recorded, there is a mechanism, a little button to push so you can see the comments. So that's good. That's good, because at the time I recorded it, I thought, well, these are going to be boring when you're not watching because you're not going to see the comments. So you can, and so that would be a fun one to watch. I think we had a lot of fun, and it kind of sparked a bunch of stuff that I'm going to show you and talk about that I think is kind of exciting. So I'm definitely going to do more stitching in our house coats. It'll kind of be random. Whenever I see a chance, I'll announce it here and on my Instagram. So if you missed it and you wanted to watch it, there's plenty of opportunities ahead. I didn't buy a house coat for nothing. And I'm still hunting for maybe some vintage ones that I'd be willing to wear. Ladies back in the day were tiny, and I'm kind of a chubby girl now. And I have seen a few, but they're tiny. They're tiny little lady house coats. So anyway, let's see. I have so much to show. I don't know where to go. I have a lot to show that has to do with the YouTube live. So first, okay, this is what I'll get out of the way first, because it's sort of a shop update / showing things to do with the shop with the lives and stuff. Okay, so first of all, just a super quick shop update. I'm busy. I have a lot of orders. The wait time is long. Still didn't get any 40 count. I still only got the original 5 yards I talked about 2 weeks ago in my last video. One of the distributors did charge me thousands of dollars for what I ordered, which usually means it's on its way. But when I call, it's processing. So I don't know. I don't know when I'm getting the 40 count. We're all kind of in a holding pattern. And I know I have heard a lot that a lot of dyers are in the same boat. Some dyers are probably still dyeing 40 count because if they had enough inventory to sort of last this Zweigart not sending it episode, which I did last time they didn't get a lot of 40 count. I had purchased enough that I kind of rode that out, but now I'm out. So eventually I think if they don't get, if Zweigart doesn't get on the ball here, you're going to have a lot of dyers there's just going to be no 40 count. So it will come. It's not like they stopped making it. Yeah, so I will keep you updated. Just watch. I mean, the moment it's on the FedEx truck, I will be posting on my Instagram so that all of you that have been waiting, I mean, I have some orders from late January that had 40 count in it that are sitting here waiting. Last week, beginning of this week I mostly worked on a lot of shop orders, so my customer orders are even a little more behind. That's another thing that puts me behind, is having to work on both and put the pause and put the brakes on either customer or shop orders while I work on the other. Sometimes I have to put the pause on the customer orders because shops sometimes have deadlines. They have stitch alongs and events and things coming up that they really need to have the linen for, which customers need it too. But, it's all a juggling game and triage. I feel like it's triage when I'm dyeing linens. So, yeah, and I have a bunch that's ironed and ready to be cut and packaged and stuff. So I assume that I will have some bundles. I'd like to get some in the mail today. We'll see what time allows. I know I promised some customers they had orders going out in the next mail date. And sometimes even when I say that, there can be glitches and things that take me away from following through with that. But if I've told you it's on its way, it's ready, it's coming, it's in my mail pile, it is. So yeah, so just watch for shipping, emails, and again, contact me if you want to change your counts or whatever. I pretty much have every other count available. Whether it's dyed or not, I don't know, but it very well could speed up your order. So we're all just waiting. And if you want it quickly, like I said, don't order from me. I feel like I have to keep repeating that because I have so many new customers and new people, or customers that just start watching the Flosstube. So a lot of stuff that I say in the shop updates is repeats. Let's see the other shop update. I do have enough 32 count, so I opened up, if you go on the website, all colors are in stock on 32. So I had put that on my Instagram earlier this week, and I've gotten a lot of 32 count people that were waiting to get certain colors. So for right now, we're good on 32, 36, 46, 28. It's just that elusive 40 count. So, and the 5 yards that I got did go out. I wasn't able to do a lot of colors, so a lot of those older orders are still waiting. Okay, what else? There will be some updates to the website. I think last time I had mentioned some charts and things that I was going to try and get up there that weekend, and I didn't get to it. The kits and the charts and stuff are kind of secondary. My main goal is trying to get customers their linen. So it will be, and I have more stuff coming. And so now I'll transition to talking about the live video that I did, which is kind of a shoppy thing. If you go back and watch, I did show that I was kind of talking about some starts and kind of doing a mania type thing. And I did show that I have ordered some NPI hanks of red because I'd like to start one of my Bristol Samplers. So one thing that will be going on the website are NPI hanks. I ordered number 503, I think it's 503, and 575, 2 different shades of red. They're $32. And I also, because on the live I had somebody ask, could I have some Bristol Samplers available? And so I do have a few copies. I started with Louisa Cullimore from Hands Across the Sea because it's a small one. And it's been a chart that's been around forever. Anything that I put in on the website that's a chart or a kit if it says sold out, I'm just not carrying large amounts of them to have on hand, but I will restock them, right? So if I have 10 charts, as soon as I sell the 10, I'll just reorder them. I don't want bundles and bundles of charts sitting here, you know, waiting to be ordered. So never fear, if you go on there and you want one of those kits, you want one of the charts that I have on there, it will be restocked. And if you're looking for it and you see it sold out, shoot me a message and say, hey, I went on to order Louisa Culliver and you're out. You know, when are you getting more? Because sometimes, you know, I'm not always paying attention, and that might give me a heads up that they need to be ordered because I may not have seen that I ran out. So yeah, so hanks will be, silk hanks will be on the website. I do have those. Some of the charts that feature my linen, some of them may be kits and some of them may just be the charts, or may, you know, they may not be full kits. All charts that use needle and flax linen will be on the website with a description of the threads and the called for linen. So if I don't have it bundled as a kit, you can go in there and see what it calls for, and you can kind of order the kit. You know, you can order the linen and the chart at the same time. And that's kind of the purpose of carrying all the charts that call for needle and flax, because then you're paying one shipping, you're going to one place, blah, blah, blah. You know. Okay, so I went back and watched the live video, because the hard thing about when you do a live is that unless you have like a moderator or somebody with you, you don't see all the comments flowing through. And like for me, I wanted to show some stuff to kind of keep the conversation going. So when I did the Instagram live and the YouTube live, I had some stuff to show, you know, just to fill dead air. And, but then you also pause and you're kind of talking with people that are on with you, and sometimes things lead into different directions and all of that good stuff. So I went back and watched it and read a lot of the comments, and there were some questions and things, and there were questions that I caught that we talked about on the live. So some of that stuff I'm going to address here. One thing that I did, and I do know what started it. Well, first of all, I got onto a tangent talking about first ladies. And what started it was I showed this tote bag that I got. And it's from History List is the website. I think it's historylist.com. I don't know. This video, I will, in the drop-down box, put some links, which I don't normally do, but I will put references and links because I'm going to talk about it a lot. So I ordered this. I have a linen named Dolley Madison. It's a fantastic tote bag. I love this thing. And I showed, at the time I had stitching in it because this is what I took to my mom's to do the video. It's got the George Washington portrait that she saved on the inside. Fabulous, fabulous. I had a few people that wanted to order this, and apparently they sold out. So I don't know if we did that or not, but I'm sure that they will get them back in stock because this is a pattern. They have the tote bag. They have these really cute, the only thing about that website that I don't love is they don't have a lot of sweatshirts and hoodies. It's mostly like t-shirts, and because it's so cold here, I tend to want, you know, I don't wear t-shirt. I wear a lot of t-shirts in the summer, just basic t-shirts with like graphics and stuff on them. But, you know, in the winter, I'm kind of a hoodie girl. So, and it's cold most of the year here. So if I'm going to spend, you know, 30, 40 bucks on something, I kind of want to be able to wear it most of the year. So, but they have a Dolley Madison t-shirt that's this same print, and it's super cute. The back of it has this on it, and then the front has a pocket, and it's got the George Washington portrait popping out of it, like you got that portrait in your pocket. So cute. There's also, because I'd like sweatshirts for me, and I'm totally into, like, I got presidential socks I wear all the time. I'm totally into all this stuff. There's a lot of those, like, kind of like what Beth Twist used for her printed mugs and stuff, where artists kind of upload things and you can find real niche paraphernalia, mugs, totes, zipper bags, that kind of thing. Like Redbubble and Society 6, and there's just a lot of websites. So if you do a Google search, because there are other Dolley Madison things, which I'm going to get more because this bag brings me so much joy to even have it. And I love Dolley. So, you know, you may see me ordering other things from time to time, and I'll tell you where I get them. But if you do a Google search and you'd like some Dolley Madison swag, there's a lot out there. But History List is where you get this. So when I showed this, it kind of sparked this, you know, because you're live and you got to chat. And so I kind of went into this long rant of why I like Dolley Madison and some facts about Dolley Madison, which I feel I didn't really do her justice because there's so much more, and there's so much. I love all the little nuances and the little sort of humanizing little things, you know, that kind of bring these history characters to life. And there's a lot of them that I didn't even mention. A lot more interesting things about her. And I didn't even go into, you know, the end of her life and that whole, you know, I kind of did a little rambling cliff note. And there was a lot more. Had I had notes for all I wanted to say, that would have been good, but it was just off the cuff. So, I had a lot of, I was shocked. Okay, when I did it, I was a little embarrassed that I kind of geeked out on everyone and went a little, you know, history nerd. I had so many messages. I mean, comments on the YouTube video from people watching it afterwards, and private messages and emails of people that really, really enjoyed it. So here's where my brain went. I mean, literally within 24 hours, I was texting friends and asking if this was a good idea. So here's what I'm going to do. And this leads into a couple other things. I think I'm going to do next winter. So I'm thinking January, February. Now, this is not like final plans, but because we're friends and we're just chit-chatting, I'm telling you what I'm thinking. And it will happen. I just don't know the details yet. So when I was doing that, I had a couple people ask, did I know if Dolley Madison did needlework? Because of course, during these early first ladies, especially during their time, this would have been heavy sampler time. Martha, Abigail, Dolley, you know, a lot of these ladies would have been of the age and living in the United States when samplers were being made by girls. And lots of different kinds of needlework. You know, Martha was a quilter, and she was heavy into needlework. Martha Washington was. So basically, it kind of spawned the idea that I think January, February, kind of a winter series. I think I'm going to do a series of live videos about the first ladies and tying them to needlework, whether they were needleworkers or even, like I was saying, you know, I could go in all different directions with this, but I think even if we don't have examples of their needlework, or there's no real, what do you call it? Documentation as to whether they did needlework, we can assume that they probably all were somewhat handy with the needle. I think most women were at the time. You know, I was saying, you know, like if a first lady was born in Virginia, we could go over Virginia samplers from that time and the types of needlework that she might have done, even if we don't know it. So I think I'm going to do a first lady series, only dead first ladies, heavy on the early ones. I don't know. I may do some episodes where I kind of clump a few first ladies together. I don't think I'll kind of do them in order, but you know, this wouldn't really be like your modern first ladies. A couple I might, but so I think we're going to do a first lady live series, and so that'll give me time to do some research. I'm thinking of possibly having some exclusives for that. You know, when I get all the details hashed out, we'll go together. But so many people really liked it. I think that it would be fun, especially, you know, when you live in 4 seasons, the dead of winter. It might be fun after the holidays and in the new year to do a series on that. So it'll be kind of like history and needlework kind of meshed together, and that will be the focus. It won't really be me, you know, showing my whips and things like that. So I think that's going to be fun. One thing I also wanted to mention, and I'll put some in, I don't know if I'll put them in this drop-down box. When I was talking about Dolley on that live video, I had said there's not a lot written about her. There is books and there is stuff written about her. I think that, well, I know what I was trying to basically say was comparatively, she was like a real cool chick, fashion icon, all of these things during her time, very popular. And I think now we don't really refer to her that much, right? There are some books written about her. I think that you read and can find a lot more information currently on like Martha Washington, Abigail Adams, and Eleanor Roosevelt. There's a lot more information on a lot of other first ladies and not quite as much on Dolley, but there is some. After that video, I also looked, because I know I've watched different episodes and YouTubes and things on Dolley, YouTubes and podcasts. I will probably save some of that reference material maybe for when, because I will do an episode on Dolley, a live on just Dolley for sure. And Abigail's one of my favorites. But there are podcasts that have episodes on her, but I did do a YouTube search and there are a few, if you're not a reader, there's a few documentaries on Dolley on YouTube. I know PBS has done some. I feel like, I'm not sure. I could be speaking out of turn here. I feel like I love Ken Burns documentaries. Love them. I will watch anything he does a documentary on. And it's great stitching TV. Great. Because you don't really have to watch. You can really kind of listen to the story. I feel like he used to do short documentaries on PBS. I feel like maybe American Experience or, I don't know. He did some with like shorts, and I know he did one on Dolley Madison years ago. So that might even be worth trying to find. But all that reference material, my books and things on her, I may put some in this drop-down box, but some of it I may save for a Dolley Madison live video. So yeah, so I think we'll have a stitching series of history and needlework. Then I was looking at the comments from the live, and somebody had commented, and I'm going to pass this information on to you, which I found very exciting. So somebody had commented that on May 20th, that's Dolley Madison's birthday, there's going to be a book talk Zoom at the James Madison Museum. This information I will put in the Dropbox. There is a book coming out called Ladies, I had to write this down, Ladies' First Common Threads by Deborah Scala-Grocus. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. And it's a book about 18 first ladies and their needlework. All different types, quilting and crocheting and not just samplers or needlework. And that book, I don't remember what the release date. I looked it up. I went on the website. I'll put it in the drop-down box. So that is an upcoming release this month. That book talk Zoom might be kind of fun to watch. Kind of hear about the book. A lot of people had mentioned the Mary Queen of Scots book that was a recent release. I have it. I haven't read it yet, but that looks great. This one might be a good one to add to the library. If you love history and needlework, why not? This person that commented also mentioned, which I had no idea, there is a First Ladies Museum in Canton, Ohio, at the home of William McKinley. I had no idea. Now it's on my list. It's on my list to go. A lot of, I love going, well, I've been to two. The presidential libraries, that's kind of on my bucket list, is to hit them all. A lot of the early presidents, they don't have libraries, but they have, a lot of their homes and birthplaces and stuff are little historical museums. So I have quite a few of those on my bucket list to hit. Living in Southern California, the two I've been to are the Reagan Museum and the Nixon Museum. My dad was actually a docent at the Nixon Library. On a side note, the Nixon Library is okay. It's kind of interesting. They do have the house he was born in there that they've moved. It's in Yorba Linda. It's in Orange County, real close to where I grew up. It's kind of interesting. They have all the Watergate tapes and stuff, and you can go listen on headphones and stuff. That's kind of interesting. I guess if you're there and you're interested in that, maybe it might be worth a stop. It's an okay library. And there's a lot of, events and things held there. We actually stood outside when they had his funeral there. And we stood outside and watched there was a ton of living presidents when Nixon died. So like Clinton and Carter and Reagan and the Bushes. I mean, everybody was there. Now since a lot of them have passed. But we watched the motorcades and watched all the living presidents arrive for Nixon's funeral, which was kind of fun. But definitely, I would say, this is a total side note, if you're in Southern California, whether you're American or from overseas, that Ronald Reagan Library is worth a stop. You don't have to be a Reagan fan. You don't have to be a history buff. It is an impressive place to visit. I mean, I like Ronald Reagan. He's the president, of my childhood. So I had wanted to go just to go, right? And I was blown over by that museum. They have sections of the Berlin Wall. One of the most amazing, it's in a gorgeous setting, and it's kind of in this hillside and out in the valley, out near LA. It's in a beautiful spot. But they have an Air Force One that he rode in on there that you can walk through. I mean, how many times do you get a chance to get on Air Force One? Never, right? So they have some of his Marine One helicopters. They have an Irish pub that you can eat in. He and Nancy used to like to go to Ireland, and they had a favorite Irish pub, and they built an exact replica of that pub is in the museum, and it serves food, right? So that's a place you can go get lunch. Seeing that, and the Air Force One is inside, and you can't take pictures on it. I don't know why, because it's so funny. First of all, it's laid out totally different than you would think. Totally different. You get to walk all through it, and it's so funny because the computers and stuff are so 80s. They're like these big, clunky, you get to see where, they keep the nuclear football and all that stuff. I mean, it is cool, but you can't take photos. Why? I don't know. Maybe the newer Air Force Ones are also laid out the same. I don't know. It's just for that alone, it's worth going. It's worth going to walk on an Air Force One. It's incredible. So you don't have to be a political person. You don't even have to be a history nut. It's impressive. It's impressive. I also liked, they have a room there where it has, all the stuff on the assassination attempt of Ronald Reagan. And so they have his like x-rays. He was a heavy smoker. Those were some black lungs. It's kind of got these like videos around you in a circle where you watch the film of him getting shot. I mean, it is incredibly interesting. Just amazing. So that, if you're ever in Southern California, right up there with Disneyland, put that on your visiting list, because, and if you live there and have not taken a day and gone to the Ronald Reagan Museum, you're missing out. You're missing out. Like I said, you don't have to be a fan of his to really be blown over by that library. Now I went on another tangent. Okay, so I have a bunch of stuff to show you. Again, some of this was sparked by the live video. And I have my coffee. And I thought I'd pull out my First Lady's mug. This is a Fishes mug. It was a gift from my friend Pam, because she knows that I love all this stuff. So I've got, I don't know if they still have this available. I know they create a lot of stuff during like election seasons and stuff. They'll have some pretty irreverent political stuff available, but some of it's like this. So you got Nancy Reagan, Abigail Adams with that, great little bonnet she was always wearing. Eleanor Roosevelt, that one, I got so many messages asking me if I could do a video about Eleanor. She is a top first lady of a lot of people. Very interesting. I appreciate her. She's not one of my tops, but she's pretty good. She's up there. Again, on a side note, if you like Ken Burns documentaries, his documentary on the Roosevelts, man, that family, I tell you. So that's very interesting, especially if you want to learn a little bit more about Eleanor. Because, somebody that had commented Eleanor was their favorite. I'm like, yeah, she's great. It bothers me that she and her husband were cousins. I'm just saying. It kind of, I can't get it out of my brain. Victoria and Albert, same deal. Can't get it out of my brain that they are cousins. So we got Eleanor, Lady Bird Johnson, right? There's a couple of these that I really haven't, like some of these modern ones I haven't really studied or know a lot about. Martha Washington. She's a big needlesmith. We could probably do a couple episodes on her. Pat Nixon. Jackie O. I mean, who doesn't know about Jackie O? Fabulous. Michelle Obama. We all know about her. Very recent. Mary Todd Lincoln. Sad. She's got a sad story. She suffered with a lot of mental illness. Very sad. Betty Ford. You know, we had a first lady with an addiction problem. That's interesting. And Rosalind Carter, who is still alive. Well, let's see, who's still alive on here? I think the only live ones would be Michelle and Rosalind Carter. I think Betty Ford's dead, isn't she? I don't know. The Gerald Ford Museum is in Michigan, and I have not hit that yet. That is in Grand Rapids. He's a Michigan guy. My kids have for school trips, but I haven't hit that yet. So I'm pretty sure Betty's dead. I don't know. She's got to be dead. Anyway, so this is my First Lady's mug. So I whipped that out as an ode to my sort of announcement that we're going to do a First Lady series. I think this will be fun. And I think it could be parlayed into lots of different fun stuff. I think I had said on the video, it'd be fun to even do some historical figures from across the pond in needlework and kind of focus on some British samplers and historical figures from over there. And they have a much longer, deeper history than we do. I mean, that could go on forever. So, First Lady's YouTube live series coming next winter. It'll be fabulous. It's going to be fabulous because I have a lot of ideas. So this will give me the summer to research a lot of it because we will go over the history of some of these ladies with some interesting stuff you might not know. A few of them I know a lot about. A few of them I'm kind of excited to research. Okay, so another thing that was on the live that was a question that I'm going to show you is we talked about reading and samplers and stuff, and somebody had asked what my favorite books about historical samplers were. And of course I was put on the spot. You know, they said, which ones do you read? So I had mentioned on there that I would show some of my nonfiction books about sampler history, that I would show some on my video. And so I thought every once in a while I'll show like one or two and talk about either why I like them or where you can get them. Again, I'll put this stuff in the drop-down box. The thing about these nonfiction books, these, I don't know what to call them. They're nonfiction. I don't know. Books about the histories of samplers. The thing about it is that they're pretty much all out of print. I can't think of any right now that are currently in circulation that are in print. They're many times done by historical societies and they have small runs. So when they release them, if it's something you may be interested in, you just got to jump on it. Some of the historical societies and some of the museums do still sell copies through their museum stores and things. And sometimes that's a way to find them. You don't have to necessarily buy them used. There are places that sometimes still have new copies. But these sampler books, a lot of times you're going to have to look on the secondary market for it. Sometimes people will sell them on well, definitely on eBay, on Amazon. I know that some of the people that do reproductions oftentimes on their websites sell some of these books, like Scarlet Letter a lot of times has sampler books. Kitten Stitcher, she's great at finding them, and she a lot of times in her book section has some of these out of print books for sale, which makes it easy. If you're willing to search the secondary market, sometimes has them cheaper. Sometimes getting it from like Teresa is actually not only easier, but just as good a deal as if you found it yourself. So the trick is to hunt. Okay, so I grabbed two. One of the ones that I mentioned One is my favorite, and one I just thought is relatively easy to find and not terribly expensive. The other thing about these books being short runs, they go out of print pretty quickly, and sometimes the price can be pretty steep. I think I had mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned it on, I think I mentioned it on my Instagram live. One good way, if you're going to invest in some of these books, is, I'm repeating myself because I know I've mentioned this, is use your library system. Contact your library. A lot of library systems are connected to other libraries. And in the state of Michigan, they're all connected, including the universities, like the University of Michigan and Michigan State. All the college libraries are on here too. And if you don't know if you want to spend the cash to get some of these books, a great way is to request it from the library. Request it from the library, give it a flip through, see if it's worth spending the money. Maybe you don't want to own it, you just want to read it, and you know, the 3 or 4 weeks that you're allowed to check it out is good enough for you, you know? So I think that's a resource that a lot of people don't use enough. So yeah, check your library if you don't want to or can't afford to invest in them, because it is a collection and they are an investment. I had mentioned on the live that my favorite that I like to grab and flip through before bed, whatever, is Girlhood Embroidery by Betty Ring. This is a 2-volume. Betty Ring has she's passed now, quite a few books, and I have all of her books, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna have to look it up. She doesn't have like, 30 books, but I have some of them, and some of them are hard to find. This one is 2 volumes. I can't remember when this was released, some point in the 90s. It originally sold for $125, and on the secondary market, you see a lot of them that are still the same price. But they very, very regularly pop up on eBay. I found one a few years ago on shopgoodwill.com. That one sold for $30. You can't go wrong. So if you don't want to spend $100 on this 2-volume set, they very regularly come up for the, I'd say I see them sell more for like even the $50 and $60 range. So just keep looking if you wanted a bargain. These books are about American samplers, and I'm just going to show you a couple. I actually tabbed a couple of things. So Betty Ring was sort of an expert in American samplers, which of course I love. It's 2 volumes. Comes in that sleeve. And it basically, these books basically go through, let's see what volume is. This is volume 2. So they're beautiful. They're beautiful books. Beautiful books. She basically goes through a little of the history of needlework. And then she kind of goes through each state and region and American samplers that have come from these different states. There are samplers that have been reproduced that are in these books. And you'll find that in a lot of books, that you can actually stitch some of these that are in here. So here's an example. So she's got Needlework of Massachusetts. She breaks down Massachusetts into quite a few different areas and the different styles. This one's the Laura Standish sampler. I don't have that kit. At some point I may. I've never really been drawn to stitching this. Exemplary does sell the Laura Standish kit. It's a little pricey, but you can stitch. This is the first sort of known sampler that came to the United States, or that was done in the United States. Her father was on the Mayflower. Okay, so what else did I tab here? Oh, here's another one. Okay. So this would be in the Newport Sampler section, right? So she has, there's a lot of reading, but there's a lot of photos too. So depending on your mood, you can either be reading or you can flip for some real good sampler eye candy. So this one is Newport Samplers, and this is Sarah Pope. She's got the Sarah Pope antique in here. And Sheepish Antiques, that is one that you can stitch. This is an American sampler. You may see this one also pop up when I do it. I'm going to do an American sampler video. So It's a beautiful sampler. She's got a section on Rhode Island samplers. I mean, look how pretty this is. So basically, you know, on all, she has sections on all of the needlework teachers and schools that they know of in the United States. I know there's some that they assume are from schools and don't know who the teachers were. Pennsylvania, they kind of, I mean, look at this. I mean, some of these I just look at and I just want to stitch them. Right? You know, I love a pastoral scene. So like Pennsylvania, she has them broken down. You know, there's a little Quaker section. This one is Philadelphia. Philadelphia had a certain style of sampler. These are fun because I think everybody kind of has, you know, favorite styles of samplers. When you really start researching them, you kind of find that you're drawn to certain kinds. I love Philadelphia. I love New Jersey and Rhode Island samplers. I mean, there's just beautiful stuff in here to look at. And so this is a good, you know, it's a good one. It's a good one to, this one's from Washington, D.C. Or Washington City. I mean, how gorgeous is that? You know, we'd all die to stitch all these. So these are fun. If you're in the mood for samplers and you're not in the mood to stitch, great reference. So Betty Ring, Girlhood Embroidery. Secondary market is out of print. Don't pay, you know, don't pay $200 for it. You can find it cheaper. You just gotta hunt. You can put a search on eBay and it'll come up quite often, actually. Okay. So the other one, this is another American one that I grabbed. This one is pretty easy to find. You can find it, I know, on like thrift books and Abe books. Those are other places to search for some of these out of print books. Half price books, eBay, all that stuff. This is Samplers and Sampler Makers. And American Schoolgirl Art, 1700 to 1850. And the author is Mary Jane Edmonds. This one's kind of fun because it's very like genealogy driven. So again, it kind of talks about regions, but all the examples they show, they talk a little bit about what they know about the girls that did it and the genealogy of some of these samplers. So this one is very fun and it's kind of broken down more by time period. This is a fun one. I definitely suggest investing in some of these or at least checking them out at the library. If you have early American ancestry, sometimes you can find relatives and you may not know that you have, you know, a 50th cousin in here that made a sampler. But if you have a big family tree and you have some early American genealogy, you know, try and get a book from the region that your family was from, or look at some of these books and you might be surprised. You might actually find a relative's bit of needlework. How fun would that be? Enough of that. We got to show some stitching. Okay, and I'm already at like 43 minutes, so we're going to have to, I got a lot to show. Ay, ay, ay. That was quite the tangent, and I can't stop now because that would be ridiculous. I got to get a warm up, so I'm going to pause this. I have to mention one of my customer friends, Brenda H., sent me a treat in the mail, which was amazing. And I have a thank you note that's going out. But Brenda had sent me a, which I don't have it plugged in here. She told me I could use it during my floss tubes. Like a mug warmer to keep your coffee on, and I've been using it. It's fantastic. A lot of times in the mornings I lose my coffee cup. I set it down, I'm getting my kid ready to go to school, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I will set down my coffee all the time and not know it, and it has really helped to keep the coffee warm and know where I put it, and it's fantastic. It was a real shock to have that sitting on my doorstep. So Brenda H., thank you very much, and I have a thank you note coming to you. So hold on one second because it's not that I need more. I need more. So hang on. Okay. Got more coffee. This is going to be a long video, but I'm ready to rock and roll now. Okay. I got a new hair color. My daughter did this. It is a cherry coke Dr. Pepper color, whatever, covered up the gray. Okay, so on the live video, I also talked about, I don't really do mania, but I've kind of given myself permission to, I think I called it Imagimania. If I was going to do it, I showed some things that I would start. I kind of feel like for May, I've given myself just free-for-all permission. I can start anything I want. I can work. Basically, I gave myself permission to start anything I want, as many as I want in the month of May. A lot of times I talk myself out of new starts because I just have too many whips and I don't like little teeny tiny starts. But I think for the month of May, it's fun. Since I get no stitching time, I mean, I get very little stitching time. I kind of feel like that's why I've had a lot of starts in the last year, because now I've been dying for a little over a year. And, you know, when you get a little bit of time, it's just hard to choose what you want. And there's so many things in the future that you want to get done. And so I'm going to be working on whips and starting a lot of new things and making no apologies for the month of May. After that, I need to rein myself in a little. So I have some of the stuff I've been working on. And I'm going to go over some summer themed patriotic charts. Some of them I would like to start this summer. Maybe I'll start some in May. Maybe they will be summer starts over the next few months. And some of them are just maybe ideas for you, charts that I have that I'm probably not going to start this year. So the first part of this, God, I feel like I've had the worst allergies lately. I've been waking up so congested and gross. Okay, so one thing that is kind of a shoppy thing, I'm going to show you my haul first. Lori Rippey of Homespun Prims by Lori. I will again do something in the drop-down box. She released a pattern a couple days that I shared on my Instagram that is patriotic. So it kind of goes with my theme and kind of a shop update. It is, I only have the top page here, so hopefully. It is the Sweet Liberty Sampler. This is stitched on needle and flax Brea. It is adorable. It's adorable. You got to go look at the photo too, because I have a crap printer, so this printed out page doesn't look that great. She does PDF downloads, so you have to go through her to get the chart. This is not a chart that I will have in my shop, but I have ordered the threads, and I will do thread packs for this, for the called for. It's DMC and Classic Colorworks. And I have Brea in all the counts. I do have Brea in 40 count. So that is something that you need to go and download. Get the chart, add it to your summer stitching plans. It's phenomenal. I'm waiting on I'm waiting on the Classic Colorworks. So I don't have the thread kits yet, but I will have them. So if you download the pattern from her and then go on my website, you can get your linen and your threads from me if you would like. Or you may have them in your stash because it's not, like I said, I don't even have the color key here, but that is so cute. Oh my God. I have haul that's going to be included in the summer. I did get the Queen of the May. I've had a few questions on what needle and flax linen to use, and it was kind of a debate. Looking at the photo, you know, my first instinct, because it's such a creamy color, would have been Dirty Teacup, and I may have given that as a suggestion, but here's the issue. There's a lot of yellow in here. A lot of yellow. And one issue you could have based on the piece of linen that you get, Dirty Teacup is mottled. If you had a real heavily mottled piece, I think it would be fine. You may have gotten a cut off a yard that doesn't have as heavy mottling or as dark. I think this one would be great on Alcott. So that would be the suggestion I would have. I'm still debating whether to carry this chart or kits. You know, right now I only have the one copy for me. It may end up on the website, especially if I decide to stitch it. I can order a bunch of the threads. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. So that's part of my haul. I'll show you my whips. In the video, I had mentioned that I really wanted to start, where's the cover? Nantucket Girl Sampler by Plum Street. And so guess what I did? started this last, I don't remember when I started this. I kind of get, I get a few hours in on the weekend. I've been trying to, quit. I work all weekend. I work Saturdays and Sundays, but I've been trying to kind of stop by like 5 o'clock so that I can get a few hours of stitching in each night. So really right now, the weekends are when I'm getting a very small chunk of time in, but I've kind of been giving myself permission to do that. During the week, I don't know. Last night I tried to get some in. I stitched like 5 things and I was like falling asleep. And previous to Thursday night, I hadn't stitched since, I think, last Saturday or Sunday. So, this is my little start. This is 40 count buttercream by Lakeside, which is the called for fabric, and it's the called for silk. So, there's no border on it. I'm trying to kind of work down. There's some motifs that I would like to get to, and so that's why I didn't even stitch like full words or anything, because I'm trying to move down the sampler this way, and then I think I'm going to move this way. It's a real tight squeeze on this piece of linen, and I'm really hoping my measuring works out, because that's always a fear, right? So I did start that, and so far it's a lot of fun. I think parts of this one will go fast and parts of it will go slow. Some of those motifs have some color changes, and it looks like it's small and would be quick, but I don't think it is. So I'm going to be working on that this summer. And that was a new start. Okay, something I worked on since my video 2 weeks ago. I don't think I showed the progress that I've had on this because it's not that interesting. And it's, oh my God, is it wrinkly? I got to start ironing this stuff. Okay, so this is an American Sampler. Whoa. American Sampler by Plum Street. Okay, this is, again, right up my alley. So I've been working on that grass and the bunting and stuff. And I did a little bit more on, I think it's Abigail. I think it's John and Abigail on this. I think this is a Virginia. It's just a colonial couple. It's inspired by the state of Virginia, this sampler. This was a, I think it was a Dime to Stitch exclusive. Long time ago. So, and I have to fill in see all that mortar and stuff I got to fill in. So that house will get deeper. I think I did a little bit more of this there. So I do have a bit to go on this, but it is very fun to work on. And so that's going to get ramped up in the next couple months because I'm determined that will be a finish this summer. Determined. I've been working on it too long. And another one I pulled out, the one I pulled out last night that I started to snooze a bit. This is another one that has a lot of solid stitching, and so I've been trying to pull it out on the nights when I can't focus or I'm too tired. This is Mary Bailey by Scarlet Letter. Love this chart. Love this chart. I'm really determined to get this on my wall. And let me get out of the hoop. It's very big. It's very simple. There's not, the wording is over one, but it's pretty much, there's no specialty stitches other than the saying is over one. And so I wanted to get to the house. So of course, I think I've done, probably since last time I showed, see, look how big that is. Since the last time I showed it, I think I've done some more of the border flowers. And then I was trying to get to that house because, let's see. Okay, so you can see, I haven't gone down this side. You can see how wide it is, but there is just a ton of grass that goes the whole way across. I mean, it's like, I don't know, 6 or 8 rows of stitches. Let me see. It's a lot. Oh, it's like 9 rows, 8 or 9 rows of stitches. So that's going to take a while to fill in that grass. I think once the house and that grassy strip is done. This will really pick up speed-wise. So I'm really trying to get to this and get that done, especially when I don't want to focus or if I'm watching TV or something and a TV show I have to pay attention to. So that's Mary Bailey, and this is 36 count antique ivory by Zweigart, just one of their basic linens, which I love. It's kind of a tan, like a light tan linen, and it's not a color that is sold in 40 count. I don't know if it's in other counts, but it is not a 40 count color. It is 36. Okay, so here's what else I'm going to show. Okay, this is kind of off topic. I'm going to go to this before I go to the patriotic and summer stitching. I had a message from a friend that wanted to know if I had the Mary Frances Stidstone sampler. I just thought of something. Okay, and it's by Victorian Rose Needle Arts. This was because she thought it was, you know, the look of samplers that I like, and she was right, because I have the chart. I've had the chart since it came out. I mean, I died when Tinka released this one. I thought it was just so cute. Again, you can kind of tell it's my style. So it's Victorian Rose Needle Arts. I think she released this last year. I think in 2020. Oh, 2021. Yeah, she released it last year. It's adorable. Adorable. So I had it in my pile, and I'm like, yeah, it's a total, you know, I'm going to start it. Well, my friend that had mentioned this to me has the chart and had said, did you know that she didn't know until she opened the chart, and I had not opened the chart and read it yet. But Elizabeth Stidstone is her sister, and that is also a reproduction chart that is out of print by Handwork Samplers. So I had it. I wasn't sure when she mentioned if I had this chart. I have some Handwork Samplers. They are out of print. They are something you're going to have to look on like eBay and put a search in for, or put a shout out. You know, when a lot of the, oh my God, my stomach just growled like a lion roaring. I can't believe it. Holy cow. I hope you didn't hear that. Well, you might have heard it. That was bad. Sounds like I'm filming in a zoo. It was so loud. Okay. So the Handwork Sampler chart, they are sister charts. I had no clue. And thank God I had both. But this might even be one when you put the shout out, you know, all the Facebook groups and Instagrams and stuff will say, what's your unicorn? And I always love watching those because I always hope I have something that someone's really looking for that I can send off. Not yet. But the majority of them are Blackbird. I mean, when you look at those lists, like what's your unicorn, what's the one thing? I mean, 90% of what people post are Blackbird designs. But you may want to put the shout out for this. Search around, see if you can find it, and see if you can find it on the secondary market. I know that when I purchased this on eBay. And this is the sister. This is the 1843 Elizabeth Ann Stidstone sampler. I mean, look at that. So unknowingly, I had purchased both, loved them both, and did not know there was a connection. I mean, good God. And the fun thing about this is they're not a similar style. You know, sometimes the sister samplers are kind of like the Uffendels, right? They're very similar with just small differences in them. There's some big differences in those two, but they're very similar. These are like totally different. You know, this one's like floral, but they go together. This one's heavy on the florals. This one has the strawberry border and the brick house. And so, good God. Okay. I got to pull the threads. I will probably, I actually went through for this one. I have a lot of the MPIs and there was a few I was missing. So I have those on order and they're coming in. This one calls for DMC, one of my favorite threads. And so I'm going to go to Joann's and just buy new skeins and do that. I will probably do the Victorian Rose Needle Art chart first, possibly. I don't know. But I'm going to kit these up. These definitely could be Mania starts. I'm in love now. I mean, it's like brought a whole new meaning. This is why we have stash, right? I had both charts. No idea. I got very excited about that information, and now I can stitch them because I had the stash. Fantastic. So, yeah. So Victorian Rose Needle Arts, that one's very readily available from either her shop or any needlework shop can get that for you. Okay, so one of my purchases was I knew I was going to do my summer stuff and patriotic summery type stitching to show because the time is upon us. One of my purchases was some downloads that I had been wanting for years. They're on sale right now, and they are the Willow Hill samplings charts. She has an Etsy shop. She has, and I've wanted, okay, I'll show you in a minute. I've wanted them for years and just have, you know, it's kind of one of those things where they're downloads, they're there. She also does sell paper versions, but right now they're on sale for 20% off. So if you're interested in any of these, I'm going to show you. I got all the ones I wanted. Hurry on over there. I think both the paper and the PDF downloads are on sale. So the PDF downloads are like $8. I mean, you know, cheap. So the first one would be Mount Vernon. And I'm going to say, you know, I'm going to say patriotic, historical, whatever, American. This is just a computer generated version of the chart. So I'm very interested to see what that looks like. Stitched up. Another reason that I hadn't is a lot of these have some heavy stitching in them. So they kind of be long-term. You know, you kind of got to be okay with some solid stitching. So I got that one. And the other one is called the Birth of a Nation series. So you can buy these individually, like I said, $8 a pattern, or she has a bundle where it's kind of discounted. So you get all of the patterns, and all of this is 40% or 20% off right now. So these all come in the Birth of a Nation bundle. Okay, so the first one is We the People. And I was looking at these and trying to figure out, okay, what she used, her models uses Gentle Art, which right now a lot of those colors are kind of, you know, you got to do some digging to get all your colors. I think these would be great in DMC. Get a conversion chart. The linen she used is Picture This Plus Dill, which I have never seen in person. But it looks, and she does them all on that. It looks pretty heavily modeled. My suggestion would be, if you're doing needle and flax, I would say Brea might be a great choice. And even Atticus, which is heavily modeled and kind of an orangey brown. Atticus might look really good. But another great choice would just be Vintage Country Mocha by Zweigart. I think that would be very easily to access, easy and quick to get. A lot of people have it in their stash. This is Crossing the Delaware, which of course I gotta stitch that. So, there's that one. I think these would be wonderful, like, kind of displayed together. If you put patriotic in your house, or even if you just did like a summer display, like pull them out. And they really have impact, all stitched and framed and put together in a display, maybe with some bunting or I don't know, something. This is the one I've wanted to do for years, and this is Betsy Ross. I mean, look at those curtains and that. Oh, it's so good. But like I said, heavy. There's a lot of stitching in these. This is the Boston Tea Party. Cute. Look at those houses. Good stuff. I mean, they all have these, like, I think that border would take a while. And I don't know, I might do a combination of DMC and Gentle Art. I think a lot of this stuff with the water and the grass would look really great in a variegated thread. And some of it just bold, bright, straight on, you know, color. So I don't know what I'll do them yet. And I just bought them. Paul Revere's Ride. Hey, the British are coming, you know? I think Pam and Steph talked about this just on their, I haven't even finished that video, but their most recent video, they talked about Paul Revere, and I can't remember what they think he actually had said. But they mentioned Paul Revere in their last video, because you know Pam loves patriotic, historical, New England-y stuff, just like I do. She and I have that very much in common. So I got all those. Like I said, go to her Etsy shop, Willow Hill Samplings, and right now, I think she does put them on sale quite often, but they're marked at 20% off. And I think this bundle for all of these charts I showed was like, I can't remember, 40 bucks for like, how many charts is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 charts? Maybe it was less. I don't know. It's on sale. Or you can just, for 8 bucks, right now they're 8 bucks, download one. They're great. So, I don't know if I'll start those this year, but I thought, you know what? I want to get them while I'm thinking of them. So here we go. All right. So one thing I would consider, which I'm going to continue this summer, is a new constellation, and I would consider that a summery patriotic piece. Rhode Island sampler style. This is where I'm at on that. Not terribly far. I think Bren from Fox and Rabbit is working on this. I love their YouTube videos, so fun. And he's stitching this and doing a beautiful job. He and I are probably about at the same spot with our progress. This one I have shown, I think, on the live videos a couple of times. This is Stacy Nash, Summer at Hollyberry Farm. And I'm doing that one on Dirty Teacup. And this is all I have. You're gonna have to excuse my nails. Earlier this week I was dyeing Pickwick, and I do have a tendency to not have protective wear on and dip my hands in the dye to pull up and check on the color of the linen. And Pickwick does not come out. It stays in my hands and nails for a long time. So that's all I have with that. I don't think this will get finished this summer, but definitely will get some attention. Because I want to do, this year I'd like to have Christmas, Halloween, and summer at Hollyberry kind of in some state of being stitched, because I'd like all of those done. Okay, this is for later. I'm going to move this basket to my lap. This might be easier. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to try and get through all these, because there's a lot. I mean, and there's a lot I didn't pull. There's a lot I have shown previously that are patriotic summer stitching, and I had to weed those out because there's just not time for them all. I'm sure you'll see these pop up more over the summer. So the first one is Grand Old Flag Pin Drum by Heartstring Samplery. It's a cute one. And I'll tell you which ones are kind of like on my radar and not. One I'm not going to show that's on my radar is, oh shoot, Plum Street Liberty House? The big, shoot. You know, the one that's like Yuletide Welcome and Ghoultide Welcome and Liberty's something. I've shown it a couple times. I have it kitted up. That is top of my list to start. But I don't have it in my bundle. Okay. Nantucket Sewing Set by Stacy Nash. I love nautical, and I kind of love that anchor, and I love the whale for sure. That's a possibility because, again, with little stitching time, I know I could pick that up and probably have a finish and cross that chart off my list. This one is new, and I think this is just adorable. I think Country Sampler has a kit of this. It's just so cute. And this is Artful Offerings, God Bless America, Land That I Love. I mean, how cute is that? And look, on here they have it as a pillow. Oh, it's so cute. I love this one. That's a possibility. That's a new release. That's a, I think it's a market release. Here's another market release, which I think I showed. I probably won't start this one this year. Just because I have so many. God Bless America by Plum Street. And I only have a couple of the threads, so that's another reason it might not be a start. This one's a very strong possibility for me to start. I had a lot of questions about linen suggestions for this one lately. Teresa Koga, Land That I Love. I am going to stitch mine on Steinbeck. It's kind of a taupey gray color. And I think those colors will pop on it. So that is a very good contender to start this summer. This one I've shown a couple times. It's definitely a contender because it's small and it's Plum Street and I have all the threads and all that good stuff. Bless Our Land. And I have my fancy project bag. I've got all the overdyes for that. Cute, cute. And I've shown like I said, I've shown that before. Where Liberty Dwells by Brenda Gervais. I think Brenda and Laura on their last video, Brenda had shown this one. It's so funny because she was like totally on my wavelength with, I had mentioned on the live that I've just been feeling the Brenda Gervais and wanting to start a lot of her stuff. I go through spurts, you know. And I like both of these. I don't know which one I would do first. You know, all of this ticking stuff is stitched, which quite honestly doesn't sound like fun to me. So I think I like this design better, but I could see myself starting this one because I could see myself finishing that one first. Okay, this one I also have kitted, and it's a high contender. I don't have the fabric, but just these little, this is Cape Cod Keeps by Plum Street, and, you know, mermaid and a whale, and just super cute. Okay, now this one I wouldn't say it's ever been at the top. I've got a lot of Plum Street in here. I'm going to point out a couple things on this. This one's cute. Okay, this is Liberty Lodge. It's very cute. It kind of, you know, the red truck kind of was a little cutesy for me. I kind of felt like, you know, I don't know. Anything that's super popular, a lot of times I tend to shy away from. But there's elements in this that really, when you study it, kind of pop out. First of all, it's got, you know, the patriotic flag and all that stuff. This is great. Look how cute this display is that she did. And she does this a lot, this like wood doble with the empty spools. A lot of her photos will have that in it with the flags. But you've got the checkerboard outside, right? The flag, you know, the house. I love stitching a house regardless of color. I don't know, there's just some elements to it, and I kind of love how she has that. The patriotic part of this is subtle, I think is what I'm trying to say, and I think kind of put in a little patriotic display, it really makes this appeal to me a little more than it did. Because like I said, it's a very subtle patriotic piece. This is another one. I think I might have shown this. This might as well be a Plum Street Sampler Parade because, you know, I think I might have shown this before. So this is Sampler House 3. And again, I think, okay, I think those trees would be a booger to stitch. I don't think I'd enjoy that. I would do it. But look, this is what kills me about this one. All of these sheep with the bunting on it. I mean, if I could have sheep running around my yard with bunting saddles, that would be great. It would just be fantastic. So this one's very cute. Very, very cute. Okay, this one I know I'm not starting until I finish the other one, but I thought I would show the Equality Sampler. Got a lot of patriotic stuff going on there. One of her other Rhode Island. I am done. I mean, I had texted some friends about Live on Little, the release that she did, Plum Street had for last year's the Farm Girl retreat. She did Live on Little. If you haven't seen it, Google it. It's sort of a Nantucket-y, summery. It's been a year and I'm dying for that one to be released. I mean, that's one that I think the minute it's released, I'm going to drop everything because that one kills me. I mean, oh God, I want it so bad. Patient. We all have to have patience. These things all do come out. But that's one I don't normally get like super jealous over these retreat releases. I figured they come out eventually. We just got to hold our horses. And what are the chances I'm going to start it? But that one, I'm just chomping at the bit because I want to stitch it so bad. And it's got very heavy stitching. So I'm like, oh God, release that chart. If you haven't seen it, you got to Google it. Live on Little. Mariner's Drum. I think this one's super cute. Kind of a fun thing to have out. It's got the ship on the top and the mermaid, and look at the bottom. I mean, really, you're never going to see that, but why not stitch it, you know? Just makes things extra, extra, extra. Here's Betsy's Tart. I've wanted to, see, here we go. You got the wood bowl with those empty spools. I've wanted to stitch this since, when she was releasing these, I was hot to trot on these. I have all of those tins. So I've got the stuff, but when she was releasing these series with the tins, I about lost my mind. I've stitched one. That's how much I lost my mind. I think I've shown this one before, Summer Hill. That'd be a cute kind of quick one. This one I've been wanting to do since it was released. I think this was an exclusive for Dying to Stitch at one point. And this is Peace, Love, and Purpose. This is a big contender for this summer for sure. And of course I don't have all the threads. Look at that. And this was stitched on Picture This Plus Ren. I'm not sure if I have any of that right now. Picture This Plus is another one. I mean, it is so hard to get linen from just about any dyer right now, but Picture This Plus is, it's rough to get that one too. This is Merfolk's Eden. Another sort of summery. She must love the mermaids because she does a lot with nautical and mermaids. This was a Dying to Stitch kit that I got. I was in this club and it's been released since. It's Grace on Thee. It doesn't really appeal to me right now. It did when it came out. I was pretty excited about it. I'm not feeling it right now, but again, when you have the thread and the, you just never know. You never know. That, you know, who knows. This one does appeal to me quite a bit and could be a summer start. This is again Plum Street. I gotta pull the threads for this. My Dearest Friend. It's John and Abigail. I gotta read this to you. So she wrote on the back, John and Abigail Adams spent much of their marriage apart from each other due to John's work for America's independence. Over the next 4 decades, they exchanged hundreds of letters, of which 1,160 of them survived. I mentioned that in my YouTube, that they have a lot of letters. We know a lot about them. Their love and fondness for each other was evident in their correspondence, much of it filled with endearment, such as Miss Adorable and My Dearest Friend. In 1801, John retired from life as a politician to join his beloved Abigail, and no more letters needed to be written. How cute is that she wrote that? And Nicole from Nicole's Needlework did the model. So I don't think that would take very long. And if you love Abigail, Plum Street has a lot that feature John and Abigail. We've got Betsy's Stockings. I think that would be fun. That's Plum Street. I think that would be fun, kind of just decoratively, like, you know, hanging from some bunting or, you know, cute. Stacy Nash Primitives. Now, you might not think this is patriotic or summery, but it is. This was a newer release. I think sort of before Market, her last go around of releases, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe last Market, Galleria, I don't know, in the last year. So you got like the flower border, which she's one of the great ones at Borders, but this little house has red, white, and blue bunting. And there's some red flowers. So I love Stacy Nash. This could be a start. Now I showed this one before, and the only reason I pulled this out is I think this is a good one that one of those NPI skeins would be good to have handy for. And this is Primrose Needleworks, 373 words. And it is Gettysburg Address. Very fun. There's also a new release that's coming out that's Handwork Samplers, which is another reason I decided to offer the, I don't have the charts yet, but to offer the skeins of red NPI. I'm also going to have black, $9.98. I'll have black listed in the shop. Okay, so 120. I need a sip of the coffee. Actually, my pile's getting big, so I'm going to pause. You're not even going to know I'm gone because it'll just be a blip where I shift spots in the video. So hang on one sec and we'll finish this up. Okay, I'm back. All right. I got reorganized. And more coffee. I'm on my second pot today. That's the kind of week I'm having. Okay, so I don't know if I should use. Okay, so this is Liberty Pin Drum Justice and the Justice Needleberry by Heartstring Samplery. I am not a huge strawberry fan of the stitched strawberries. There's a few that have kind of appealed to me. I think this one's super cute, and so I could definitely see stitching that strawberry. And the pin drum doesn't look like it would have much stitching in it at all either. So I got that one. Let's see. Zip through some of these, and some of these I'm going to yak about, I'm sure. Threadwork Primitives, Land That I Love. That one's cute and would be very quick. Another Threadwork Primitives, Where Liberty Dwells. I think this one is so cute. Very, very primitive. This looks like something Christy would stitch. Daisy K's Primitives. It's got the little flag on the little log. I think it's a log house. Yeah, that's cute. I showed this one before. I go back and forth whether I'm going to whether I'm going to start this year. This is very intense stitching, but an amazing piece by Lila's Studio. And it's Let Freedom Ring. It would never be a finish this year, but I could also see if I'm in the mood for some heavy stitching, at least starting on this before I put summer stitching away. I mean, that's an amazing piece of needlework. That's like an heirloom piece. And I think, yeah, it's mostly DMC with a few Gentle Art colors and one classic colorwork color, classic Calico Kitty. So the threads would not be a big investment on that either. Okay, so this one I have tried to start. I have an issue with this one. Not an issue with, just an issue, a conundrum, if you will. This one I have had ready to start for the last few summers, and it is Lucy V. Moore by Needlework Press. I'm going to open the... Okay, now how cute is that? I don't think it would take... It's mostly alphabets. There is over one, but that flag and the flowers is like perfection, right? Wouldn't take up a lot of real estate on your walls because it's kind of long and skinny. Now here's where my conundrum is. They stitched it 1/2 threads on 30 count weeks straw. 30 count's pretty big, right? So it's kind of got a thin coverage. They used wool threads. Okay, so I'm trying to find, okay, so the stitch count is 345 by 110. So the finished size is 23 inches wide and 7.5 inches high. My dilemma is what thread to stitch it with. They give you the Gentle Arts Cotton, NPI, and Gentle Arts Simply Wool. So if you use wool, you're going to have to do like the 30 count, right? Because that thread's thicker. And then it's going to come out the size that they had, which is not, it's long, but it's not terribly tall on 32 count. So my whole sort of dilemma and debate is going up in count and either using NPI or the Gentle Art. The NPI right now is a lot easier to get, so that could be, and there's a DMC conversion, which I think would be gorgeous in this. It's not a lot of colors. So I would either use DMC or NPI. if I were to go up in count to 36 or 40, I feel like the finished product would be smaller than what I want. And I don't want to do 2/2 on 32. And I've never done 1/2 on 32. I don't know if I would love that coverage. So that's been my stopping point on this for quite a few years now, is just not knowing the count and the threads that I want to use. But the design, I totally want to do this. I mean, it's gorgeous. And in my project bag, I have the DMCs. So I do have the DMC threads, but I debate doing the NPI. And if I do the NPI, I don't know. So that's a hard one for me. Okay, so now the last few I'm going to show you are Blackbird. Blackbird has some great patriotic. This is a real possibility. And this is hats off to Uncle Sam. This is done on Murky, I believe. See, I don't even know. I'm just looking at it thinking. Yep, 32 count Murky by Picture This Plus. I guess my version that would be closest to Murky is Endora. And so that's probably what I would stitch mine on. Either Endora or I might do Steinbeck if I don't really want it modeled. But I think I might do Endora. I'd like to have some stitch samples of something on all of my linens, and this might be a nice example of what you could do with Endora. You know, the tricky part about this is if you do the hat, the pin drum goes into the hat, and so with your display, people come over and you go, ta-da, like take off the hat and show it. Like, how do you display it and have it look good unless you make the hat, which is paper mache boxes, and just like this, keep the pin drum outside and the hat separate. And then when you're storing it, put the pin drum into the hat. So, see, you put the pin drum into the paper mache in the hat. So, I don't know. You'd have to display them separate, like I said. Otherwise, you're like a magician. Want to see my pin drum? Pa-ba! I don't know. That's always kind of thrown me off on that one, too. Is how you display it. Because the hat is adorable. It was a great idea. Okay, so this one was re-released last summer, and it's Souvenirs of Summer. There are a few Blackbird books where not every Blackbird book do I want to stitch every pattern in it. I love them. There's no designer where I want to stitch 100% of everything they've released. Not one. Right? So, but there are designers where there is a large number, a majority, and those are the ones I always put at my favorites. A lot of what Blackbird designs I'd like to stitch. What they release I'd like to stitch. But there's a couple books where I could literally stitch everything in the book. And this is one of them. Okay, now there's not a ton of charts in this book. But I was so glad when they re-released it because I did not have, this is one I did not have. So this one I think is amazing. This would also be a fun fall one because you've got the acorn leaves and the acorns, but then you've got the flags, you've got the browns. You could stitch this one for a summer stitch or even a fall stitch, which would be cool. And that's definitely on my list. It's almost gonna be like a flip through. This one I'm probably the least jazzed about. I don't see myself stitching this anytime soon. It's called America. Lake House Catch. I think that is so cute. So cute. This one's Patriotic Bouquet. And this is the one that I'm really jazzed about. And I almost started last summer, but didn't. And I'm really hoping to do it this year. And I have a little frame already. I've already got a frame for it. This is Summer Song. So cute. That Blackbird Crow guy. And a lot of people have done this. Summer Jubilee. I've seen it on the dark and I've seen it on light. And both look really great. And this would be one I would probably stitch on Pickwick. Maybe, depending on my mood, if I went dark. So, that is a fabulous book. This book, I got it the minute it was released. Have I stitched one thing out of it? No. And I could stitch every single thing in Sweet Land of Liberty. I mean, phenomenal book. Now, most of the charts in here have a sort of a grayish taupe fabric. Actually, you know what? Okay, this one, Liberty Rose, I'm not real jazzed about this. It's just not my style. I think a few people have stitched it. I think Carol Saltbox, I think, might have stitched this. And maybe Lisa, Kindred Stitcher, she might have done that. This one was my top one, Salute to Abigail. And I know, I don't even think I'm going to use the called for. I'm going to pick my favorite reds, because the red in here is not one of my favorites. My favorite red, my favorite overdyed red is Lancaster red, hands down. And so I'd like to do this with Lancaster red. And I think I'm going to stitch this on Hemingway, which is a sort of mottled medium brown color. And I love this one. This one had enough, okay. They wrote something about this too. So I'm going to read it to you. Thoughts from John Adams to his wife Abigail on America's independence. So John wrote, I am apt to believe that it will be celebrated by succeeding generations as the great anniversary festival. It ought to be commemorated as the day of deliverance by solemn acts of devotion to God Almighty. It ought to be solemnized with pomp and parade, with shoes, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations from one end of this continent to the other, from this time forward forevermore. You will think me transported with enthusiasm, but I am not. I am well aware of the toil and blood and treasure that it will cost us to maintain this declaration and support and defend these states. Yet through all the gloom, I can see the rays of ravishing light and glory. I can see that the end is more than worth all the means, and that posterity will triumph in that day's transaction. Even although we should rue it, which I trust in God we shall not. And it was written from John to Abigail on July 3rd, 1776. And he passed away on July 4th. So he knew we would have Independence Day and that it would be, you know, it's 2022 and we are still shooting off the fireworks and having the bonfires and celebrating our independence, which is fantastic. But I love that they had put that quote in this book. Fantastic. If you haven't read it, I think most of you have this book. So In Full Glory, I think this one's amazing. You know, there's a lot of stitching in these little pillows, but God, just the red, white, and blue is great. We really do have a great flag. I mean, you know, some countries kind of phoned it in with like blocks of color. The stars and stripes are just phenomenal. And who doesn't? You notice a lot of people that aren't even American stitch patriotic. I don't understand why or know why, but the designs are great, right? The red, white, and blue color combo, and it's just fantastic. I also love the Union Jack. That's a great flag. There's some good flags out there, but some of them really, don't you ever think like, well, they phoned it in? I mean, look at the Japan flag. What? They all have symbolism, so I'm not trying to trash flags, but we have a good one. Okay, so this one's American Eagle. I love that. Who doesn't love a White House? And who doesn't love a flag? So I don't know if I'm rambling, so I don't know if I said it, but a lot of these called for linens. The first one I said, the Salute to Abigail, I think I'm going to do on Hemingway. A lot of these, I don't know if they're the same, but they're kind of a grayish taupe, and so I think you could get a big chunk of Steinbeck if you were using needle and flax, and pretty much do this whole book in Steinbeck, which is what I think I may do. So I love that. Who doesn't love a house with bunting on it? And this one's called Sweet Land of Liberty. It would be fun to do on the pedestal too. I don't know if that would actually be my finish, but I like it. So that book, I could stitch right through it. I mean, really, you could pick that for your summer stitching and just do all the projects this summer. One purchase, one book, you're done. So this is the last one, and this is another one. It's a Blackbird quilting book. I mentioned it on the Instagram Live. It is another, okay, it's out of print. You're probably going to pay a lot of money for it. Try and use your library again. I know my library at different libraries in the state of Michigan, they have had some of these Blackbird quilt books, and it would be very easy to possibly source it that way and check it out from your library, and stitch quick, get the chart. Most libraries let you renew at least once, right? So if you can check out for 3 to 4 weeks and renew it again. This pattern I'm going to show you in this book has been high on my list for a long time. And, you know, if you can find it maybe through your library system or even borrow it from somebody, I don't think this would take long to stitch. And this pattern is in this quilt book, and it is United We Stand sampler. And I haven't looked at what the called for is, but I think this could go Dirty Teacup or Pemberley, which is sort of like a cream, a yellowy cream that I have. So I lean Dirty Teacup. Dirty Teacup's a little warmer than Pemberley. I think Pemberley is a little more cool, like a very, very light, soft butter color. So I may go Pemberley on this just to have a sample of something stitched on it. And the reds would just pop. So that is in Celebration of American Life by Blackbird. Like I said, it's a quilt book. On the Instagram live, Carol Saltbox, she was on there and she is working on one of the quilts. I'll show you the quilts real quick before we go. These are the two quilts. A lot of their quilt books have, like, Barb did one and Alma did one, you know, same quilt and kind of slight differences and varying colors. And these are both gorgeous, and I think Carol said she has started this one. Which, who knows, you may see in one of her quilt videos. I personally, I think this one's Barb's and this one is Alma's, and I think that if I were a big quilter, I'd be doing this one. But they're both amazing. This one, actually, I could actually see, I'm not a quilter, I could see making both of them, because they're just, this is a gorgeous quilt, so... And there's other projects in these. If you don't get the Blackbird quilt books, there's rug hooking and punch needle and sort of great little decorating photos. So, but like the charts, they go out of print and those books just shoot up in price. So you just got to watch and try and catch them. So, okay. I think that's it. This is almost an hour and 40 minutes. This record-setting long video, I knew it would be. I was looking forward to doing it, getting it done. Getting it out there for you guys. I don't know when I'll be back. I'm going to do at least 2 weeks. If I have another thing like this where I have so much to show, it could be sooner. I don't know. I'll try to do 2 weeks. Oh, see, I almost forgot something. I did pull a winner for my giveaway for this Cross Stitch Antiques of Female Arts, and the screenshot's in my phone, which I'm recording on. So I'll announce the winner next time. It's closed. I picked a winner. I don't remember the girl's last name. Rebecca, you won it. I don't know which Rebecca, because I can't remember your last name. But I did pick a winner for this, and I will announce that on my next video. I may even put it on my Instagram. But I will, you know, if Rebecca only watches YouTube, I will announce it again if she doesn't get in contact with me. So look at my Instagram for the winner of this one, and I'm going to send that out. And I have another one. I think I had said before I was going through and I had doubled the charts. And since I talked about the Troy and Rose Needle Arts, this is one I had to double up. And this is Honor Harrison. So I'm going to give this chart away in this video. So if you want, you have to be 18, you have to be a subscriber. Definitely subscribe and like the videos, because it just makes things so much nicer for me making the content. It makes it nicer for you when you're looking at YouTube. YouTube suggesting there's a lot of great new floss tubers coming out, it seems like every week. And there's an algorithm, right? And they will suggest things that are interesting to you if you subscribe and like. If you subscribe and hit the bell, you'll know when I upload and when there's a new video to watch. So I know there's a lot of people that watch these that do not subscribe. So hit the subscribe button. You gotta be 18, blah, blah, blah. Don't say giveaway in your comments at all. So what's the word we're going to use for this one? See, honor is spelled funny on this, so I don't want to say honor because people might spell it wrong. Shoot. I didn't think this ahead. Right honor. I will search it both ways. This little girl's name is Honner, but I will, I'll put both, the regular Honor spelling, and I will also put this one. So even if someone misspells it. So just write honor like it would be an honor to be entered. And the other chart I picked someone last night. So basically I will leave this open for a couple weeks if you don't watch the days or the weekend that I upload. It's a great chart. I will be stitching this at some point. So good border. All right. So that's my next one. The comments on this that used the word headmaster were hilarious. And Kathleen contacted me. I got some info wrong on this. I'm going to have to reread her email and then pass on the information to you about this chart. But people used the word headmaster in hilarious ways in the comments if you want to go read. And that's it. I got to get to the post office. I have a pile of laundry that is like knee-high in my laundry room, and I'm out of detergent. I got to go do that. Do all the things. Sunday is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. If you're not a mother, happy Pet Mom Day, or hope you have fun celebrating your mother or remembering your mother if she's not here anymore. We don't do anything. I'm not big on that other than that day I like to be a little selfish. And so I really try to do what I want. And so I'm hoping maybe Sunday to get some stitching time. I still might be working on Mother's Day. I think I might have to. But I am going to take a little extra time this weekend to get some stitching done because that's what I want to do. And I need to get some yard work done. So I might take a couple hours out in the sunshine. Our weather's improving finally. So that's it. I hope you all have a great American holiday weekend. I know Mother's Day has already passed in other countries or is upcoming. And yeah, so I've rambled and I hope you got a lot of stitching done during this almost 2-hour video. Geez, oh Pete. And I will be back at some point. So watch my Instagram for updates on your orders and things. And I think that's it. So have a fabulous week, and I'll see you later. Bye.